What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? My name is Vinny Vega, and today I got another PC build for you guys. And I know it's been a while. In fact, end of June was the last time I've actually put up a PC build video. Now, I did explain briefly in that video that I was waiting on some prices to come down on the new Pascal and Polaris cards. Not to mention availability was just a pain in the ass at that time. No cards were available, everything was sold out. Not to mention people were scalping for prices like crazy. Like there was 1080s going for $1,000 when there's like $600-700 for the original price. Ridiculous. For this particular build, I went with a mostly neutral color build except for the case, and you'll see just what I mean in a little bit. Now the price tag on this PC in particular is definitely steep at $1,100, but when you find some deals you can cut down the prices. Now of course this is US prices that I'm talking about, so I really feel bad for you guys out in Europe or Australia. You guys are really getting reamed for prices when it comes to tech anything, really. But this is definitely going to be a monster for tackling 1080p gaming, even 1440p gaming as well. So without further ado, let's get right into the CPU. For the CPU for this build, I chose the Intel Core i5-6600K. This is clocked at 3.5 GHz and a turbo boost of 3.9 GHz. This is going for $228 USD. This is a 4-core CPU and it's more than enough for gaming. And also, not to mention, you can overclock it as well, and most i5s are known for going up to 4.4 GHz. Now this CPU does not come with a cooler, but even if it did come with a stock cooler, you would still want to get an aftermarket cooler, giving you that overclocking headroom. For the cooler, I chose the CryoRig H7. Now this is a very nice cooler for the price at $35, and it's even known for doing much better than the Hyper 212 Evo from Cooler Master. And for $5 more compared to the Evo, I'd say that's worth the price if you're getting better cooling. And not to mention, it actually gives you some RAM clearance, and it's a little bit shorter, so it can fit in even smaller cases. But definitely a good cooler for the price. Check it out for sure. For the motherboard, I chose the MSI Z170A SLI Plus. This is the ATX motherboard on the LGA 1151 socket, and of course the Z170 chipset, so you can overclock that i5. This is going for $138. This board supports up to a whopping 64 GB of DDR4 memory, up to 3600 MHz speed. RAID support, crossfire support, and you guessed it, SLI support by the name. It also has 6 SATA at 6 GB per second, onboard USB 3.0 headers, and also looks pretty good too with the black and silver color scheme. Now if you have a Micro Center or a Fry's near you, you definitely want to check out some deals on CPU and motherboard bundles. Oftentimes you can save $50 or even $100 on your build from doing this, so definitely check out the deals when you can. Now sometimes on Newegg they have it as well, so it's not just limited to in-store buys sometimes. For the RAM, I chose 16 GB of Kingston Fury DDR4 2400 MHz. This is going for $79. Now this is a pretty good deal for 16 GB of RAM, considering that it used to be $120 for 16 GB of DDR4. It's amazing how much the prices have really dropped. I know you only really need 8 GB for gaming, but 16 GB gives you that little bit of extra headroom, and it's right in that sweet spot, in my opinion. Definitely good RAM for the price, and it looks good too with its black color scheme and its low profile design. For storage, I chose an SSD and a mechanical hard drive for this build. For the SSD, I chose the Samsung 850 EVO, 250 GB capacity, $94. Now this is going to be great for your OS, your key applications, and also some of your favorite games that you like to play. Making those loading times nice and zippy. Your whole experience on your computer as far as browsing, gaming, editing, everything nice and fast. For the mechanical drive, I chose the Western Digital Black. This is a 2TB hard drive at 7200 RPMs for $120. I know this is a little much. I mean, you could get away with a Western Digital Blue for like $50 for a 1TB one, but 2TB is going to be plenty for extra games and just any applications that you want to store on your hard drive. Something that you don't necessarily need to run as fast as an SSD, but it still runs at a decent speed. Western Digital is a great brand, and I've stood by it from the beginning. I have 2 Western Digital Blues in my system right now, and they're still running nice and strong. For the graphics card, I went with the EVGA GeForce GTX 1060 Superclock at $260. Now this is a 6GB card, and I do emphasize that you guys definitely get the 6GB and not the 3GB model. I have no idea why Nvidia actually did this. 3GB is definitely not enough for today's AAA games. And it definitely adds a little bit of confusion for some people in the store when they go to pick up their GTX 1060. Definitely look for the 6GB model. You'll be much better off and you'll thank me later. And from what I've seen in benchmarks, this card is an absolute beast in not only 1080p but also even 1440p gaming in some games. Unfortunately, you cannot SLI this card, and yes, I am sensing the irony considering what motherboard I chose for this build. I'd rather have the most powerful single card that I can afford. That's the way I look at it, at least. For the power supply, I chose the EVGA Supernova G2 650 watt power supply at $98. Now this is a gold certified fully modular ATX power supply, and the nice thing about fully modular, it means that you only have to add the cables that you need for your build. And you can also add custom cables with a color scheme of your choice. That's the nice freedom of modular power supplies, giving you that extra bit of flash in your build, showing off your parts with some nice cables. Overall, it looks really nice. For the case, I chose the NZXT S340. This is a mid-tower design, and it's also a Razer signature case. It also has the green LED lights for both the symbol and also underneath the case as well. And you can pick this up for 89 bucks. And NZXT is known for making really good cases that are not only affordable but look very good as well. It has a nice little basement for your power supply, and it makes cable management very easy, making a nice clean looking build. And it also has the window to show off your parts, and like I mentioned earlier, if you want to put some nice cables in it, maybe even add some green LED fans in it as well to match the color scheme, you are well on your way to a very awesome looking build. And I know some people aren't really partial to green, and you can get the same case with a different color scheme. It may not be Razer logo, but it's still going to be a different color of your choice, so keep that in mind when it comes to this case. Overall, I think this is an excellent build for a little over $1,000, giving you some longevity and excellent gaming on top of that. Now keep in mind, you don't have to go by this exact model of what I laid out for you. You can always cut down some prices here and there. Maybe get a cheaper, lower capacity SSD if you don't feel like you need that much storage for that, or get a Western Digital Blue drive, stuff like that to save yourself some money on the build overall. Hope you guys have a badass day today, and I'll see you on the next one. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? My name is Vinny Vega, and today I got another PC build for you guys. And I know it's been a while. In fact, end of June was the last time I've actually put up a PC build video. Now, I did explain briefly in that video that I was waiting on some prices to come down on the new Pascal and Polaris cards. Not to mention availability was just a pain in the ass at that time.